How did I become a career coach for technical leaders? And why, despite my flaws, are techies so drawn to me? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to go a little bit off of the usual build your dream tech career. Here's the 4 steps. Here's the 3 strategies. Here's the 10 shifts to make, because I want to talk about my story. People often ask, prospective clients often ask, what's your story? What's your background? What's your expertise? Yes, and I will cover that in this video. But also, like, how did you become a career coach for tech leaders? Because that's not something that you, like, when you're 8 years old and someone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, that's not what I said. Like, I said I want to be a doctor, and then there was a period I wanted to be a lawyer, and then there was a period that I wanted to be an advertising executive, because that's what Angela was on Who's the Boss, and I want to be a psychiatrist. Like, there was a whole bunch of that going on. And it actually wasn't until it literally, like, hit me in the face, like, you could do this, that I was like, oh, wow, I could do that. And it could be fun, and it could be fulfilling, and I could be great at it, and I can make a huge impact. So what is my story? I want to open up, perhaps get a little bit vulnerable. There won't be as much editing in this video as usual. But so I apologize in advance. If I don't cut out the ums and ahs and in-betweens. I'm not going to do that because I want you to hear my story. So, where to begin? In college, I was a psych major. I went to Brandeis University in Waltham, Massachusetts. I love the Boston area. Very, very fond of it, very drawn to it. And yeah, so I went to Brandeis. And fun fact, I'm not Jewish. I went there because it's a great school. And I went there because they have an excellent pre-med program. So I went there to be pre-med. Started college pre-med. Did the whole organic chemistry, biology thing, first couple of years in college. And I also took an intro psych course my sophomore year in college and absolutely fell in love with it. And I fell out of love with the idea of being a doctor, mostly because of organic chem. I was mostly a straight A student, A's and B's, not perfect, but A's and B's, until I took organic chemistry. And then I was like, holy cow, this is hard. Not in like, and look, I can do hard things. I've gotten my PhD. I've built a multi-million-dollar business. I can do hard things. I'm not against it. But it was just, organic chem was just hard in the way that was like, this is not my brand of hard. This is not the flavor of hard that I want to go after. So then I really went forward towards psychology. I fell in love with psychology and psych research and also like mostly personality and social psychology. And also while I was as an undergrad, I discovered IO psychology. Are you familiar with IO psychology, industrial organizational psychology? Adam Grant has made it more famous. So Adam Grant is one of the more famous IO psychologists or organizational psychologists for short. That's what my degree is in. My PhD is in. So I got my psych degree as an undergrad. And then I just, again, I fell in love with psychology so much that I wanted to dive even deeper. And where did I want to dive into? It was industrial organizational psychology. And essentially, IO psychology is the science of work. So the quick way that I use to explain it is that I'm an expert in the science of organizations. That's what my PhD essentially means. So I took a couple of years off after undergrad to kind of make sure that this is what I wanted to do. I worked at BU School of Medicine, essentially as a glorified secretary, coordinating the psychiatry education department, and I got to bond with more of my psych friends and learn about what it was like to be a psychiatrist, and that totally, or a psychologist, and that totally made me even more sure that no, this is not what I want to do with my life. Not that, not that kind of psychologist. Totally my love goes out to psychologists and counselors and the like who spend their days in clinic talking with patients, but that's just not what I wanted to do. I was more drawn to the psychology of work and the science of work. So I went to UConn. I applied to grad school and I got accepted at my number one school, which was UConn. I'm from Connecticut. So basically went back home, so to speak, after living in Boston for a number of years, although it's not that far away. Like New England is, you can drive from Connecticut to Boston in 2 hours. But I had been living in the city for a number of years. Undergrad and then post-undergrad, and then moved back home to the middle of nowhere, Connecticut, Storrs, Connecticut, to go to UConn. Go Huskies! So that's where I got my PhD, and so spent 5 years at UConn, getting my PhD. My dissertation, just in case you're curious about it, was about workplace rudeness, workplace incivility, and the effects of coping and appraisal, cognitive appraisal. How do we appraise our experience of rudeness, and how do we cope with our experience of rudeness, and how does that affect outcomes? So you can look it up. I'm pretty sure you could probably get it for free, maybe on Google Scholar. And so then after I got my PhD, well, let's back up a little bit. The question for a lot of IO psychology graduate students is, do I go academic or do I go applied? And that was a question that was very much on my mind. In other words, what am I going to do after I get my PhD? What's next? And so I could become a college professor and profess, whatever that means, or I can go applied. In other words, I can become a consultant, or I can work for an organization within HR, people ops, that kind of things. So that, by the way, is where you'll find lots of IO psychologists, is within human resources, people operations, and also lots of them working as independent consultants as well. We'll get to that. That's essentially kind of what I'm doing right now, but it's not ever what I thought. Like, it never crossed my mind in grad school to become an independent coach or consultant. It was either work for an organization within people ops or HR as an expert, or go academic. And I went back and forth lots of times, and I got lots of great support from my mentors and from fellow students. And I was drawn to the academic lifestyle. I was drawn to the freedom. I love learning. I love teaching as well. I learned that in grad school. So I went academic. And so for 10 years, this was from 2006 to 2016, I worked at Westchester University of Pennsylvania on their psychology faculty. So I did the usual things there. I taught, I did research, I served on committees after committee after committee after committee. There are too many committees in academia. And so I did that for 10 years, and really, really, really enjoyed it. Amidst all of this, there was, because I want to kind of set the stage here so that you can understand why I made the decision, spoiler alert, to leave academia and start my own business, and why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Amidst all of this, but especially once I became an academic and was teaching and doing research, I was really drawn to tech. And in that case, it meant online courses and utilizing technology in teaching. Now, this is not like a mind-blowing, earth-shattering thing, especially now, but back in 2006, 2007, distance learning, distance education, that was like, oh my God, you're going into the Wild West of teaching now, Jen. So I was the first person in my department to develop an online course, for example. And I was really very much a trailblazer. At least people labeled me that way, and I do wear that label as a badge of honor. I was a trailblazer in that way. And I was always drawn to tech, like new tech gadgets and technologies. And a lot of my friends over the years have been techies. And also, my husband is a techie. I married a techie. So he is actually my co-CEO at the People Stack, and he was in tech. He up-leveled his own career. He was essentially client number 0 for me. And he up-leveled his career from individual contributor all the way on up to VP of engineering. And then way back in 2020, which seems like a lifetime ago, before COVID, we retired him. He decided to retire and join me full-time at the PeopleStack to help me with coaching and other things, and helping our clients to build their dream careers. So I've always been drawn to tech. Techies have always been drawn to me in curious ways. I love science, and I love geeking out about things. Like, I am very much an all or nothing kind of woman. Like, if I'm a no about something, I'm a no. If like I really latch on to something like, oh my God, I want to get my PhD in IOPsych, or like, oh my God, I want to learn how to teach, and do it really, really well. Or, oh my God, I want to learn how to do YouTube videos really well. And I want to get 100,000 followers. Whatever my current thing is, if I'm a yes to that, I am all into that, and I totally geek out with it. And tech has always been one of those things. And I think in tech, one of the reasons why techies are drawn to me and I love coaching, especially technical leaders, is because we share that same level of passion and geek outery, for lack of a better term, of like, I want to do this and I want to do this well. I don't want to put shit out there into the world. There's too many people who are putting shit out there into the world. I want to really get this done well. And I want to dive deep into the rabbit hole of my expertise. And I can really, really appreciate that. And so one of the interesting things that you may have noticed is that one way to look at my career is that I've never really been in tech in a traditional way, right? So I've never served as vice president of engineering or anything like that. That's my husband. That's why we make such a great pair. And what's also true is that I have and have always had my own brand of geeking out. Call it, whether it's data analytics, because I did run research groups, and publish science. And that takes a level of leading teams of geeks to accomplish and win at long-term complex projects. That's one of the things that we often say, that you could be a fit to work with us if you lead teams of geeks and you love doing that, to really win at long-term complex projects. And from that perspective, I've been doing that since graduate school. I love leading teams of, whether it's PhDs or researchers or data analysts or scientists or people who are experts in their field, to let's go together towards some outcome. And that's what we're doing with our clients too, is okay, together, let's unite, tech leaders unite, and let's create our dream careers, and let's inspire other people to do the same thing. So I worked at Westchester University as part of the PA state system of higher education for about 10 years. About 9 years in, I decided I wanted even more freedom. I am, yes, a trailblazer. I also am very much someone who's I am not going to settle for mediocre, and I'm not even going to settle for good or great or extraordinary. There's another level above that. So you have an extraordinary level of freedom as an academic, and freedom is really important to me. It's one of my core values. All right. I was starting to get bored with being an academic. It was starting to get too easy. I was got tenure, check, got promotion, check, earned a sabbatical, check. What's next? And I just didn't want to keep climbing that ladder. It was too easy for me. So it's what's another level of freedom? What's above extraordinary? I don't know. You call it what you want. What is above extraordinary? Amazingly extraordinary? Ludicrous. What's a ludicrous level of freedom? You start your own business. So I'll fast forward through this part. There was a lot of failed businesses that I tried to started and did not work at all. And that happened over the course of a year or so. This was back in, probably 2016. It was like 2015, 2016, my last couple of years as an academic. And then through some great mentoring, through some great coaching, I hired some excellent coaches, some business coaches. I was able to get clarity and say, you know what? I want to become a coach. Just as soon as the idea was introduced to me, I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. I love teaching. I love guiding people. And I love doing it for people who are like at the top of their game and want to find that next level, want to find that ludicrous level. And so one of my amazing coaches says, I said to me, I really encourage you to niche down. Because what I was exploring at that point was I can be a leadership coach. Now, there's a lot of competition in the leadership coaching space. There's lots of leadership and executive coaches out there. And so this wise mentor said to me, I don't want you competing. There's too much competition in that space. What's your unfair advantage? What's your unfair advantage? I was like, wow, that's such a great question. He's like, well, thank you. And like another way of asking that is, well, who's the niche that you want to serve? Who can you serve? Who can you help better than most other people in the world? And it just came to me. I was like, techies, tech leaders. My husband's client zero. How many times have we had over the last, the previous 10 years, conversations over dinner with our techie friends about career upgrading and about leading, but specifically leading within tech and the nuance of how it's different to up-level your career in tech versus up-leveling your career in another industry and leading in tech. And all of the micro habits and the micro strategies that are different in tech versus other places. So it was like, my unfair advantage is that I actually know tech. And I know tech leaders. They're some of my best friends. They're my husband. I know this industry. So that's my unfair advantage. And I also, by the way, am an expert in science of organizations and have been told that I'm amazing at teaching and guiding and helping people to learn and grow. All right, put the two together. It's leadership coaching for technical leaders. So that's what I did probably the first year that I was like seriously a coach and seriously making serious money doing it. And then it became clear to me because I kept asking why. Why to myself and why to my clients, my leadership coaching clients. Why do you want to be a better leader? Why are you working with me? Why did you hire me? Right? Like, what is it that you want out of this? And what I kept getting was I want to get a promotion. I want to earn more money. I want to make more of an impact. I want to up-level my career. So then that's when it shifted more to career coaching. Because to me, all leadership coaches are actually career coaches. Because why do you want to build leadership skills? Yes, to make an impact. Absolutely. We all, most of us anyway, want to do that. But for you, why do you want it? Because I want to be the best. Because, well, why? What's the outcome that I'm looking for? I want a hell yes job. I want a raise. I want a promotion. I want to earn as much money as possible. And for the people that it's not about the money, it's I want to up level. I want to geek out in my career. I want to become, and so for some people that's becoming CTO or VPE or director. All right, great. So then as soon as I shifted it to career coaching for tech leaders, that's when it took off. Because it's super niche. And that's why it works. Because it's a very specific audience. It's technical leaders like you who are listening right now who want not just to settle and be like, oh yeah, I have this career thing. No. Most technical leaders, you got there because you're awesome at what you do and you want to keep being awesome and you want more awesomeness. So that's the career coaching for technical leaders I've basically been doing since, call it like 2016 or so. And it's been so fun. It's been so fulfilling. And I'm not going to lie, there have been times when I've been considered over the last, 8 years now, that I'm like, do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to keep doing this? Because it's hard. But you know what? It's my flavor of hard. Organic chemistry was not my flavor of hard. Coaching technical leaders and building a multi-million-dollar coaching business, that's my flavor of hard. But there have been times that I've asked, like I asked myself way back at Brandeis, is this my flavor of hard? It is. It continues to be. But there have been times when it's like, maybe I want to do something else. So I have toyed with other kinds of coaching. Could I be a more general career coach? Yes, I can. Could I be a more general leadership coach? Yes, I can. And I've done some of that. I've dabbled in it. But I always come back to tech leaders are my people. Tech leaders are my people. I love hopping on our weekly Q&A calls with our clients and our monthly get-togethers where we share and celebrate and ask questions and be ourselves and cheer each other on, and also answer whatever questions are coming up in terms of how do I advance in my career? How do I deal with my asshole boss? How do I deal with nightmare project? Whatever's coming up, I absolutely love that stuff. And it's just, I'm in the zone when I'm coaching. And I'm particularly in the zone when I'm coaching technical leaders. I have dabbled with coaching other people. Like I've tried coaching academics to like escape academia and start your own business, because I've done that. I've done it successfully. So I've coached a few academics who were wanting to leave academia. And it's just, man, you know what? I hope that I was helpful to the people that I coached. And if any of you are watching it, the three of you, I certainly hope that I was helpful. But I just didn't feel that same sense of, that was fulfilling, and that was such a great transformative conversation. It's not because of the person on the other end. It's the synergy that happens when I'm in the same room as a group of technical leaders. So I keep coming back for more. I keep coming back for more synergy, and that's also why right now I want to blow up on YouTube, because I want to make an even bigger impact. So you'll see me posting more YouTube videos, getting better. I hope you're noticing that I'm getting better at editing, getting better at creating quality YouTube videos. This one would be an exception because, it's just like, it's my story, right? But anyway, that's my next goal, is to blow up on YouTube, to get at least 100,000 followers, if not more than that, because I want to make more of an impact. And I know that technical leaders like you are badass. And sometimes you just need that permission slip to say, get out there and show the world how badass you are. So here's your permission slip. Take that permission slip and use it as fuel, as inspiration to evangelize your excellence, to tell your story, to be vulnerable, to be your silly, crazy self, to find and embrace your flavor, your brand of hard, your brand of difficult, your brand of, oh, wow, this is going to be a really slow burn, but oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. So get out there and shine your light. As I often say, if it's too bright for some people, they can put on sunglasses. All right, folks, take care. See you in the next one.